This is one of the most beautiful places to dive in the West Indies, off the Pigeon Islands opposite Melangeur Beach in Guadeloupe. Every year, thousands of people come to explore the coral reef. Instructor Antoine reminds them of the golden rule: don't touch.
You can't stand up anywhere. Even if you see someone doing it nearby, don't. It's not allowed.
Equipped with simple masks, snorkels and flippers, the divers fully immerse themselves in the blue-green waters. Swimming among tropical fish and unique coral, they marvel at the biodiversity that has emerged over time.
We're on vacation enjoying ourselves, discovering what it's all about, whether in the sea or out in the open.
There's a lot of beautiful fish and beautiful coral. It's colourful.
But this complex, wondrous ecosystem is under threat. For several years now, the reef has been deteriorating.
Thumbs up, it's alive. This, it's dead. You'll get it.
Here, the white corals have died, but the bronze lives, which is very rare. According to Antoine, the reef is becoming a cemetery, in part because there are too many tourists. Kayakers, swimmers and divers come in droves to explore the seabed without realising the damage they are causing.
People come to these busy, fragile and rich sites without supervision. They're people who don't know the area, who after a while get exhausted and have to walk to avoid drowning and so on. It's a disaster, it's obvious. In such special areas, there needs to be more supervision.
The Guadeloupe National Park, formerly known as the Cousteau Reserve, has 8 teams who monitor the entire zone, keeping a watchful eye on the tourists. But another insidious threat is climate change. Warmer waters can cause heat stress and lead to coral bleaching. This park ranger, Simone, is about to take the temperature using a thermograph. The data collected will help to monitor the overall health of the ecosystem.
The tolerance threshold is 29 degrees, and we can see very clearly from the data that for the past 2 years, the 29-degree temperature has been exceeded from May or June to almost the end of the year. The higher the temperature, above 29 degrees, and the longer it lasts, the greater impact there is on corals.
The park has taken measures to limit the number of service providers allowed on site. Some diving clubs have also adapted their practices to relieve pressure on fragile sites. For example, by offering outings instead to this wreck, which sunk in 1996. One instructor, Stephanie, has moved a third of her expeditions away from the islands.
How do you feel now? It's not too tight?
She's even considering reducing the number of dives each year.
We could limit our timetable according to reproduction periods, but it would be super difficult. I'm constrained by the competition.
To manage the threats to the Pigeon Islands, consultations with local groups are underway, and new regulations should be implemented by next November.
To talk more about the UN Oceans Summit, which wrapped up last week, we can bring in our environment editor, Chloe Dupuis. Great to see you. Now, 19 countries ratified the High Seas Treaty, but we still need 10 more.
Yeah, absolutely. And French President Emmanuel Macron is confident that the treaty will turn into law in January and that he will get 10 more countries on board. If that happens, it would be the first ever international agreement to legally protect marine life in international waters. These are areas that belong to no one, and yet they cover nearly half of the planet's surface. Until now, there was no proper safeguards against destructive practices like deep sea mining, for example. Now, the treaty aims to protect at least 30% of the world's oceans by 2030 through international cooperation, sharing new technology, for example, scientific expertise, and of course, funding among the 60 countries that are hopefully going to ratify it.
But we're still far from that goal, right?
Yeah, indeed. Just 8% of the waters are designated as marine protected areas, and yet less than 3% of those are truly protected, according to NGOs. Bottom trawling, for example, continues to destroy the seabed of some alleged protected zones. And it's devastating for biodiversity. As much as 3/4 of the creatures caught in those nets actually get discarded as bycatch. As one expert puts it, protecting the high seas with a treaty shouldn't be used as an excuse for countries not to protect key areas within their own waters.
Now, why is it urgent to act now?
Well, let me put it bluntly. Without a healthy ocean, we simply wouldn't survive. Did you know that oceans actually produce more than half of the oxygen that we breathe? They absorb 1/3 of the CO2 that we emit. So they're not just the lungs of the planet, they're also the biggest carbon sinks that we actually have. There is one problem though. The more we pollute, the more greenhouse gases are released, the warmer and the more acidic the ocean becomes. And that means the ocean can no longer do its job. So this isn't just about saving marine life or coral reefs, it's about saving ourselves. And that's just the scientific side of it, right? Economically, a healthy ocean provides food, coastal protection, medicine, and tourism income for billions of people around the world.
So governments need to do their thing to deliver on their promises and step up efforts to protect the ocean. But what can we do as everyday citizens?
Well, we could all change our habits. Little things like not putting sunscreen on straight before you go into the water. Instead, you can wait half an hour, or better still, you can wear a rash shirt. Because even if you buy water-resistant sunscreen, it still washes off in the sea. And it releases around 25,000 tons of product each year. That's roughly 1 litre of sunscreen per second released in the sea. So watch out for chemicals like oxybenzone and octinoxate, which are toxic to reefs. They can bleach corals within 48 hours. And since coral reefs support about half of marine species, well, losing the reefs means that you're going to lose half of these ecosystems. Also, you can be mindful of what you put down your drain. If you have a garden or a field, try and cut down on fertilizer, pesticides, even inland, because runoffs do end up in the ocean. Things like cleaning products, such soaps and shampoos, cosmetics that might be harmful to marine life. Try and choose natural, organic products if you can afford them, of course. And if you're feeling particularly active, you could also volunteer for organizations that monitor biodiversity, organize beach cleanups, or restore coral reefs. Ocean Quest, for example, collects damaged corals. They take small cuttings and stick them with special marine glue onto rocks that they've recovered from the seabed. And then they put them back into the ocean and let Mother Nature do the rest. Corals only grow just a few millimeters per month, so it will take years before they actually fully grow. But Delano, every little helps.
Thank you very much for that. I was just looking at the beautiful ocean behind you. I'm getting lost in it. Thank you for that.